Hello, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Lorena. I am a self-concept and manifestation coach, guide, mentor, and all of the content on my channel is here to help you change your state of being, change your perception of who you are, and create a reality that you love waking up to every day. If you like this video and if you like my content, I would love it if you could give me a little thumbs up because it does actually really help the algorithm I found. And if you are new here and you haven't already, I would love it if you subscribed so you don't miss any future videos and so I can welcome you into this little community. And now let's talk about today's topic. Today's topic is all about manifestation, and the topic I wanted to speak to specifically is the question of repetition versus surrendering or accepting how things are. Or in other words, when should you repeat further? Drill in the new reality, drill in your vision until you become saturated with it, versus when should you drop it and let it go? I understand that people receive mixed messages on this. There are many coaches and content creators out there who are big on affirmations, and they will tell you to drill the affirmations in, to repeat the affirmations, to repeat until it basically eliminates everything else out of your consciousness. That's the idea behind this. Obviously, I'm generalizing here, not everybody's the same, but that's the general idea. And then you have essentially the other side of it, which is what I speak to a lot more, but I will speak to both today, which is surrendering and not putting so much effort into affirming and visualizing and doing all the things, but to drop it, to let it go, to surrender, to accept things are, because that alleviates the attachment, right? When we're attached to something, when we're resisting how things are, what you resist persists, it can't come through. If you think about something constantly, it can't come through. Think about when you've manifested something, be that consciously or unconsciously. I can almost guarantee you that it doesn't come through when you're thinking about it. It comes through the moment you do something else, the moment you're busy living your life, the moment you maybe even drop it or let it go. It comes through when you least expect it usually, or in the moment you least expect it. It's not 100% predictable, and to be honest, it would be boring if it was. But that is not to say that I do not believe in repetition. I am personally not a big fan of affirmations. That doesn't mean I don't use them at all, or I don't recommend them at all, but I am not a fan of bypassing what is already present within you, because whatever you don't deal with in your subconscious just gets pushed further into your subconscious. It's not like it suddenly disappears just because you're affirming over and over and over again. Most of the people who come to me, most of my clients, are the kind of people who have tried the approach of manifesting, affirming, and drilling a new reality in, and they've come up against their own subconscious beliefs and kind of started sabotaging themselves, and it made things worse. A lot of people who come to me tell me, I actually now feel more anxious than I did before I knew about this stuff. I learned about manifestation, I learned about the law of attraction or law of assumption. I don't use either terminology usually, but those are the popular ones, right? And instead of it empowering me, I feel worse than I did before. And that often happens when the energy that you come at this from, that you affirm from, comes from anxiety, from trying to make something happen, or from bypassing what is already present. Because again, what you resist persists. If you're trying to push something away, your automatic assumption behind that is this is a problem. And if you perceive it as a problem, you make it more real than it needs to be. So this is why I'm not a fan of mindless affirmations. I have a video on affirmations as well and how to actually use them productively. I'm going to link that below for you. But I will say repetition is also important. So something that I also see people do is go back and forth. They actually know how to get into a new state of being, or they can go really deep in meditation or really deep in visualizing. But the moment they go out of that, they're back in the old. That's also something that happens very often. And I think that's probably why the approaches on affirmations are so popular, because it does focus on repetition, and repetition is powerful. Because if you only do something once or twice or even 3 times or even 10 times, but it's lacking the consistency, you're not going to see change. You're not going to, because the old will prevail. Because every time you let it go, you're going to go back into the old. For example, I have a coaching program which really builds upon each other. Every week builds upon the other. And I've designed it this way so it really lands and integrates, because I know people tend to not do as much repetition because it's a lot of work. I wouldn't want to do it. I don't want to do the same thing every day. It's boring. So I wouldn't want to sit here and affirm 1,000 times. No, it's boring. I've got better things to do. So that's why I'm not a fan of that. So I created it in a way where it really builds upon one another, right? Week 1 is the foundation for week 2. Week 2 is the foundation for week 3, and so on. But the thing is, you can't just do it once. If you do any practice, be that a meditation, be that using affirmations, be that visualization, be that embodiment practices, I'm big on embodiment practices as well. Any practice that you do, a journaling practice, also a big fan of those. If you only do it once, it's actually not going to do anything. Imagine you wanted to change your physical appearance. You wanted to get fit, physically fit, get a more muscular body or lose some weight, and you start going to the gym and you only go once, or you go once and then after 3 weeks you go once more, or you go 3 times in a row and you don't see results and you stop, and then you pick it up 3 weeks later again, and then you do the same thing again. You're not going to see results, right? You're not going to see results because the consistency is lacking. And it's the same with any manifestation practice. You do need repetition. Pick whatever works best for you. If that's affirmations, go for it. I support you. If that's meditation, go for it. If that's embodiment practices, go for it. If that's any of my practices, go for it. If that's a combination of all of the above or other things, go for it. Whatever lands with you, do it, and do it consistently. It doesn't matter if you skip it from time to time. It doesn't matter if you skip a day or 2 or 3 or 5. But you want to get back to it. You want repetition. So repetition, consistency are important. Yet, and that's what brings us to surrender, you don't want to be attached to it. If you notice you have tension behind this, if you notice you sit down to meditate and you're trying to make something happen, if you notice you're affirming because you're in fear and you feel like you don't want to sit with your fears, if you notice you are trying to change who you are and what is, right? You're trying to force it to change, you're resisting what's currently happening, stop it. That is a time to surrender. If you have been consistent, if you've been doing the same thing for years, stop it. Just let it go. I know it's scary. I know it's scary to drop it all and to let it all go, but it's actually the most impactful thing you can do, because maybe you've done enough. Ever thought about that? If you have been consistent, if you have been repeating, if you've not been doing it from a place of fear or resistance, and you've just genuinely done it because it feels so good, drop it. You've done enough. You've done enough. You've got nothing more to prove. You've got nothing more to do. It's done. You've done enough. So, in short, this is a balance, and we need both. We need repetition and consistency, and we need to surrender and accept what is, and not to force something into being, because forcing doesn't work. Resistance doesn't work. It's going to turn where you are into a problem and keep you stuck exactly where you are. I hope this helped you. Let me know what you think about this. Let me know what other videos you want me to create, any topics, any questions. And If you want to work with me more closely, I am going to link my coaching program, Recreate Yourself, which I mentioned in this video, down below, and you can check it out and you can send me a DM if you have any questions about either the program or if you just want to chat with me, because I actually love connecting with all of you. So send me a DM. I love learning more about you so I can create content that actually serves you, so I can get to know you better. And if you haven't already, I'll say it again, don't forget to subscribe and give this a thumbs up. I love you very much. I am wishing you that all your manifestations come true overnight, and I'll see you in the next video.